When the next crisis hits, it won't be the obvious things that save you. Sure, food and water matter, but it's the unexpected tools that keep you one step ahead. While everyone's rushing for the same emergency kits and canned goods, smart preppers know the real game changers are hidden in plain sight. These 7 surprising products can make the difference between barely getting by and staying fully in control. If you think you're ready, watch this first. Because when supplies vanish, power cuts out, or chaos hits your doorstep, these are the items that no one's talking about, but everyone will need. In every major crisis, whether it's a blackout, a supply chain failure, or civil unrest, preparedness isn't just about stockpiling basics. It's about thinking ahead. While most people scramble for flashlights and bottled water, seasoned survivors know it's the unconventional tools that truly provide an edge. From overlooked household items to multi-purpose gear, these products aren't just clever, they're critical. You won't find them in every bug-out bag, but once you know what they do, you'll wonder how you lived without them. Like, comment, and subscribe now to stay ahead of the panic, not behind it, when the next crisis hits. Number 1. Pool shock. Calcium hypochlorite. You wouldn't think the key to long-term water safety would be sitting in the pool supply aisle, but it is. Pool shock, specifically calcium hypochlorite, is one of the most overlooked yet powerful survival tools you can own. It's not sexy, it's not tactical, but in a crisis, it's life-saving. Let's break it down. Calcium hypochlorite is a powdered form of chlorine used to sanitize swimming pools. But what most people don't realize is that this same compound can be used to make your own bleach, on demand, and disinfect thousands of gallons of drinking water. One 1-pound bag of pool shock can purify over 10,000 gallons of water if mixed correctly. Compare that to a standard jug of household bleach, which loses potency after 6 months, and it's not even close. Pool shock stores compactly, stays stable for years, and takes up a fraction of the space in your prep kit. And here's the kicker. In many grid-down or natural disaster scenarios, water is your first and fastest-moving threat. Municipal systems fail. Bottled water flies off shelves. Wells get contaminated. And while others are boiling water or rationing their last case of Dasani, you'll be quietly mixing up gallons of safe drinkable water with just a few grams of powder. But there's a catch. You have to use the right type. You want calcium hypochlorite labeled 99% purity with no added algicides or fungicides. The wrong formula can be toxic. Always read the label, store it in a sealed container, and follow proper dilution instructions. First, mix a stock chlorine solution, 1 part pool shock to 100 parts water, then use a few drops of that solution per liter of drinking water. Pro tip: print the mixing ratios and keep them in your prep binder. In a crisis, you won't want to guess. Because when the tap runs dry or that bottled water stash runs out, this $5 pool chemical might be the most valuable thing in your entire house. Number 2. Pest traps. When people think of survival, they think food, water, shelter, but they almost never think about pests. Rodents, roaches, and ants may not be on your emergency checklist, but if you're hunkered down for weeks or months, they can become a serious threat. Here's the truth most preppers overlook. In a crisis, pest infestations explode. Garbage collection slows down, sewer systems overflow, you store more food, and pests smell every bit of it. Cockroaches multiply fast. Rats chew through bags, wiring, even plastic containers. And unlike power or the internet, once an infestation starts, there's no quick fix. That's where glue boards, snap traps, and bait stations come in. They're silent, low-tech, and brutally effective. A $10 investment in pest traps now can save hundreds in ruined food and potentially your health later. Let's be clear, pests aren't just gross. They carry disease, contaminate food, and destroy gear. In tight shelter situations where you can't afford to waste resources, a single rodent can compromise your entire setup. Mice urine can spread leptospirosis. Roaches can trigger asthma and allergies. Even ants can ruin stored sugar, grains, and medications. And if you think, that won't happen to me, remember, it happens in modern homes. Now imagine that same situation during a prolonged blackout or disaster scenario. So what should you stock? Glue traps. Excellent for cockroaches, spiders, and small rodents. Cheap and effective. Snap traps or electronic traps. For larger rodents like rats. Quiet, reusable, and efficient. Bait stations. Long-lasting and great for inaccessible places. Attics, under furniture, storage areas. Don't forget, Store these in every area where food is kept, where trash accumulates, and near entry points, like doors or vents. And check them regularly. Pests don't take holidays. Pro tip: include traps in your go bag or bug out location supplies. Infestations can happen fast in vacant cabins or shelters, because when the next crisis hits, pests won't care how well stocked you are. They'll find a way in, and if you're not ready, they'll eat just as well as you do. Number 3, tarp clamps and zip ties in. Any survival situation, shelter is second only to water, and how you secure that shelter makes all the difference. That's where 2 of the most underrated crisis tools come in: tarp clamps and heavy-duty zip ties. Simple, cheap, incredibly powerful. Most people stock tarps, and that's smart. But a tarp is only as good as your ability to anchor it. Grommets tear, ropes slip, nails don't always work. But tarp clamps? They grip like a vise and create secure hold points anywhere on the fabric. Combine them with industrial-strength zip ties, and you've got the ability to build, patch, and secure almost anything, without tools, noise, or hassle. Let's talk about use cases. Storm blows out your window? Clamp plastic sheeting over the opening in seconds. Need a quick shelter from rain? 1 tarp, 4 clamps, and some paracord can give you a windproof, waterproof tent in minutes. Vituri, a broken door or exposed vent. Zip ties let you strap, bind, and seal with 0 skill required. And these aren't just for shelter. Use clamps to hang blackout curtains, create privacy dividers, or even seal off contaminated areas in a bug-in scenario. Zip ties can fasten gear to packs, repair broken tools, or immobilize objects or people in emergency situations. Don't underestimate their tactical flexibility. Now here's why this matters in 2025. We're seeing more extreme weather, more supply chain gaps, and longer emergency response times. That means more people fending for themselves longer. When that happens, versatility wins. So what should you keep? A pack of 4 to 6 tarp clamps, locking jaw style, not twist tight. A variety of zip ties, 4-inch, 8-inch, and 12-plus-inch lengths store. With your shelter gear, in your go bag, and in your vehicle, pro tip: test your clamps before a crisis. Know how they work. Weak ones break fast. Go for contractor grade. Because in the next crisis, the simplest tools often solve the biggest problems. And tarp clamps and zip ties? They just might be the difference between just surviving and staying secure. Number 4, toilet gel sealant. When people prepare for a crisis, they think about food, water, power, but rarely about what happens when the sewers stop working. And when that happens, it's not just unpleasant, it's dangerous. That's where a little-known but powerful item comes in: toilet gel sealant or drain sealing tape. Let's be clear, in any disaster involving flooding, power outages, or grid failure, sanitation systems are one of the first things to break down. If you're bugging in and the city's water or sewage systems go offline, your toilet could backflow raw sewage, methane gas, and bacteria right into your home. Most people aren't ready for that, but with a $10-20 sealant or tape roll, you can be. Toilet gel sealants are originally designed for RVs or boats. They're placed over the toilet bowl and create a temporary airtight seal. No smells, no leaks, no risk of sewage gases infiltrating your home. Likewise, drain sealing tape is used by contractors and emergency responders to cap floor drains, shower drains, and sink traps when water systems are compromised. Now, why does this matter? Because methane gas isn't just smelly, it's flammable. And raw sewage? It's a cocktail of bacteria and viruses. In a long-term sheltering scenario, if you're forced to stay in your home for days or weeks without working plumbing, this is the kind of oversight that can make your family sick or force you to evacuate when it's least safe to do so. Having a toilet seal kit and drain tape in your bug-in setup is a small prep with huge upside. It takes up almost no space, weighs nothing, and buys you time. Time to figure out long-term solutions or relocate safely. What to stock? 1 to 2 toilet gel seal kits, rated for up to 72 hours of containment. 1 roll of high-grade drain sealing. Tape, non-permeable, water, air-tight. Optional, rubber plumbing plugs for high-risk drains. Pro tip: Practice sealing your drains and toilet before a crisis. It only takes 5 minutes, and in a real emergency, speed matters. Because in a survival situation, losing sanitation isn't just inconvenient, it's deadly. And the people who stay clean are the people who stay healthy, stay safe, and stay in control. Number 5. Manual coffee grinder. It sounds like a luxury, something for hipsters or coffee snobs. But in a survival scenario, a manual coffee grinder becomes a surprisingly powerful off-grid tool. And no, it's not just about caffeine. Let's start with the obvious. Coffee. In a crisis, routines matter. A familiar cup of coffee isn't just comfort, it's morale. Instant coffee runs out fast, and most people don't realize whole beans store far longer than pre-ground coffee. But unless you have a manual grinder, you're stuck chewing on them. Now here's where it gets tactical. A manual coffee grinder isn't just for beans. High-quality metal or ceramic burr grinders can crush dried herbs, seeds, spices, and even grains in small quantities. That's game-changing when you need to prep food without power. In a blackout or grid-down event, you can still grind wheat, berries into flour, flax seeds for nutrition, or even oats into meals. Most electric grinders are loud, fragile, and completely useless without power. But a hand crank grinder? It's silent, durable, compact, and it'll work just as well in your kitchen as it will in a cabin, vehicle, or tent. What should you look for? Burr grinder, not blade. Burrs crush more consistently and don't overheat. Stainless steel or metal housing last longer and resist cracking. Adjustable grind settings, so you can go from fine for flour to coarse for coffee or seasoning. And here's the part most people miss. It's a barter item too. When supply chains break, coffee and spices are some of the first things people miss. A grinder lets you process whole goods into tradable, usable forms. That puts you in a powerful position. Pro tip: pair your grinder with vacuum-sealed bags of green, unroasted coffee beans or whole grains. Stored properly, they'll last years and taste fresh when everything else tastes like emergency rations. So yeah, it looks like a simple kitchen gadget. But in the next crisis, a manual grinder won't just give you caffeine. It might give you calories, comfort, and control. Number 6. Solar garden lights. They're sold as outdoor decor. But in a crisis, solar garden lights become one of the most useful, underestimated survival tools you can own, especially if they use replaceable AA or AAA rechargeable batteries. Here's the deal. When the power goes out, people scramble for flashlights, candles, or gas lanterns. Buy solar garden lights? They're already charged. They're quiet. They don't require matches, fuel, or extra attention. Just set them outside during the day, and by nightfall, you've got reliable, renewable light. But not all solar lights are created equal. Most cheap models have built-in lithium cells that can't be replaced. Once the battery dies, the whole unit is trash. That's why the key is finding solar garden lights that use standard rechargeable batteries. The kind you can swap out or recharge manually if needed. Why does this matter? Because lighting isn't just about visibility. It's about safety, morale, and mobility. In a prolonged blackout, your windows will be dark, your bathroom will be pitch black, and walking through your home at night becomes a hazard. But a few well-placed solar garden lights can illuminate walkways, room corners, or entry points without using a single watt from the grid. They're also great for discreet outdoor use. No open flames, no power draw, no fuel smell, just a soft glow that helps you navigate or secure your perimeter. Want to take it a step further? Pop the batteries out during the day and use a separate charger to juice up AAA devices like flashlights, radios, or headlamps. You've basically created a makeshift solar power station from a $4 garden stake. What to stock? 6 to 10 solar garden lights with accessible battery compartments, extra NIMH rechargeable AAH or EAA batteries. Optional, small USB solar charger for added flexibility. Pro tip: store a few in a window year-round. That way, even in winter or indoors, you've got backup lighting pre-charged and ready to go. Because when the grid goes down, it's the quiet, passive preps like this that keep your world lit and your risk level low. Number 7, portable bidet bottle cap or squeeze bidet. Let's get real. When the crisis hits, toilet paper will disappear first, again. But this time, smart preppers won't panic buy pallets of Charmin. They'll already have a better solution. A portable bidet. Yes, a bidet. It might sound like a luxury at first, but in a long-term emergency, a portable bidet cap or squeeze bottle is one of the most practical, hygienic, and resource-saving tools you can own. And unlike stockpiling rolls of TP, it's compact, reusable, and clean, literally and logistically. Here's how it works. A squeeze bidet or bottle cap attachment fits onto any standard plastic bottle. When filled with clean water, it turns that bottle into a precision hygiene tool that rinses thoroughly. No wipes, no clogs, and no waste. It's already common across Asia and the Middle East, and more preppers are catching on every year. Let's talk about survival value. In a crisis, sanitation is survival. Running out of toilet paper is uncomfortable, but going without any cleaning method leads to irritation, infections, and serious health risks, especially when water is limited or plumbing is compromised. A bidet keeps you clean without draining your water supply. Even better, it's zero waste. No paper trash piling up, no filling your bug-out bag with bulky rolls. And if you're bugging in during a grid failure, it prevents sewer clogs from flushing excess paper when water pressure is low. There's also a major barter angle. Most people don't think about hygiene gear beyond wipes. When they run out, you'll have a reusable solution that's in high demand and worth trading. What should you get? Portable bidet cap, attaches to water bottles, super compact squeeze-style bidet, soft silicone, travel-ready, refillable. Optional, collapsible water pouches for clean and dirty use separation. Pro tip, practice with it once before you need it. Most come with instructions, and it only takes one use to master. Because when things go sideways, the people who stay clean stay healthy, and staying healthy is what keeps you alive. This $10 survival upgrade may be the smallest item in your bag, but it could be the biggest game changer when everything else runs out. Survival isn't just about having the basics, it's about thinking differently. These 7 surprising items aren't flashy, but they solve real problems most people won't be ready for. From water purification to hygiene, pest control to off-grid power, each one gives you a major edge when everything else falls apart. The best part? They're cheap, compact, and easy to find before the shelves go empty. So don't wait for the next blackout, flood, or breakdown to start scrambling. Stock these tools now and be the one who's calm, clean, and completely in control. If this list helped you level up your preps, hit that like button. Subscribe for weekly breakdowns on survival gear, shortages, and smart prepping strategies. Stay sharp, stay ready, stay ahead.